Hey y'all, welcome back to Dots and Beyond. I'm Beth. Let's set up my son's December 2023 bullet journal with a mirror theme. I'm going to start by creating a frame around our pages. This is a frame I'm going to use recurrently throughout this setup. And in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about the mirrors. So when Kenny came up with this theme, I really intended to draw mirrors. I asked him, did he want red mirrors with silver faces, or blue mirrors with copper faces, or gold mirrors with black faces? And then he landed on the idea that he wanted a normal silver-faced mirror. He didn't really want anything on the faces of the mirror either, no reflections, nothing magical, just the mirrors. And so once he did that, I realized that we had lots of leftover holographic paper from his June 2022 setup, which was a skating theme. And so I combined mirrors with the holographic paper. So what I did was find mirrors that I liked, and I created a Canva page template full of mirrors, and I printed it once on regular sticker paper, and then I printed it again on the holographic paper so that we could cut out the centers of each and replace the plain sticker paper with the holographic paper. Now on these larger ones, I was able to cut them both out. On these tinier ones, it was easier for me to cut out the holographic paper and then just stick it to the other sticker and make that work like that. And that's how we have come up with our mirrors. That mirror is for something else, so let's go ahead and grab the mirror that is for our cover page. I picked this ornate tabletop mirror, and we are going to try to position it. I'm going to hold it in place, draw a little bit of a pencil line so that I know where to put that, so that I get it in the right spot, and then we will peel off the backing and stick that holographic paper right where I wanted it to be. I did get this one at a little bit of an angle, but that is okay. It all turns out in the end. Getting its frame stuck down in the appropriate location was a little bit more of a challenge, but I did get it where I needed it to be, and all of the little bits of our mirror were covered up so that it looks like a mirror with a silver holographic center face. And then we're going to use these alphabet stamps to put in not only our December header, but also put in a quote. I used these in my December setup. They were out, they were handy, decided we were going to use them again. This time I am just going to use regular black ink since we are going for that graphic look. And the quote that I chose for this setup is, "The mirror is the worst judge of true beauty," by Sophia Nam. I did choose to do her name in cursive. I used cursive in a couple of places just to soften up the page a little bit from all of the stark black and the stamped letters. And then I have room for a small mirror on the left side of the spread as well, and this is the one where I ignored Kenny's instructions to not have anything on the face of the mirror, because I found this clip art that had an eye in the middle of the mirror face. And if you've been watching this journal setup through the course of 2023, you'll know that there is lots of eye imagery spaced in and around here, because it is one of Kenny's favorite images. It's all related to his love of the Magnus Archives podcast. And that is it for his cover page for December. We're going to go ahead and move on to the calendar page. I'm going to begin by recreating that frame. This time I'm going to frame out the entire spread and not just either side, but I'm using the same frame technique. So it's just that inverted circle and then connecting all four corners. And while I have the ruler in hand, I'm going to go ahead and rule out the calendar grid as well. I asked Kenny if he wanted any other embellishments to go along with this, any washi tape, anything else, and he really wanted to keep it clean and black and white. So I did highlight the top of every line with a very light gray Tombow, the N95, and then we're numbering the calendar so we can go ahead with the placement of our headers, which I'm using the stamps for again, as well as our mirrors. And we are keeping this color free. The only color you're going to see is what comes up off of that holographic mirror. For the calendar page, we have this one mirror here at the top, and then I have 3 smaller mirrors that we are going to put here on the right side. And then I'm going to take a tea break, because sometimes in the middle of these setups, you just have to pause and take a tea break. I also stamped a December header off to the left of our mirror. I think I really meant to make that cursive, but then I completely forgot about it, and we're just going to leave the stamped header. It is perfectly fine. That'll wrap up the mirror calendar page, and we're ready to move on to the next spread. This month, we're going to make that his notes page as well as his playlist page. Again, I'm going to start by framing each one of these individually, so each page is framed out instead of the entire spread. And then while I have the ruler in my hand, because we're going for efficiency here, I'm also going to go ahead and draw in the lines for his playlist. To do this, I'm using the bullet point of the N95 and making 2 very gray lines for each song. I am also using one of my stencils in this, and that's because I need an oval shape, and this is a full stencil of various sizes of basic shapes. So we're going to draw out some ovals here just to simulate a mirror face and color each one of those in with silver. There was no way I was cutting out holographic pieces in this teeny tiny oval shape. And then I'm stamping in the headers. Again, on the left we have notes and on the right we have a playlist before adding in our embellishments. I chose to do a small vertical mirror for the notes, and on the playlist page I used this horizontal one. This is my least favorite mirror of the setup. It was really difficult to cut out and sort of get correct. Moving on to the weeklies, and I did change these up just a little bit, but again, I'm going to start out by framing this page the same way we have done the others. This time I am framing the entire spread. Now, normally what I do for Kenny's weekly setups is to have a space on the far left for one week and each individual day, and the far right for another week on each individual day. And this time I flip-flop those. So the individual daily spaces are down the center, and then his rolling weekly task list is on either end or on the edges. And that leaves me space for 4 places for art, as well as a mini calendar. I did use the oval stencil on this one as well, this time coloring them in black, and what I will do after I number the calendar on either side is come in with the silver again and label our Monday through Sunday on either side. This style of weekly has been his preferred all year long. We tried a couple of different things. We came back to this one, and it does allow us to fit an entire year into the journal by giving him a rolling weekly and a small place to write down something for each day, whether it's a to-do item or an event he needs to attend. This is enough space for him to plan for his week. And we have room for a couple of mirrors, so I'm putting a standing mirror again on the right, and this time I'm using a diamond-shaped mirror on its side on the left side of the spread to fill that space. And for the second set of weeks, I'm going to set it up exactly as we have set this up, only I'm going to flip-flop the mini calendar to the other side just to change up the look and put the small piece of art on the left and the large piece of art on the right. But other than that, the functionality is exactly the same. So this time I'm sticking in a hand mirror here on the left, and on the right we're putting in a rectangular mirror. By this point I was getting pretty good at getting the mirrors down along with their faces and getting everything lined up accordingly. With that, the weeklies are done and we're ready to roll into our December wrap up and prep for a little bit of year-end wrap up as well, beginning on the next spread. I'm going to frame out one more page, this time the spread on the left. This is where we are going to have his December reflections. I am going to repeat the ruled line technique from the playlist page and use this bullet end of the light in 95 Tombow to create some ruled lines where Kenny can fill in his reflection areas for the month. I also need some bullet points, so again we're going to repeat from the playlist page the little ovals with the silver faces to be the bullets for this list for, again, his December reflections. I do try to change around the categories that I give him at the end of the month. The one thing we did determine is he doesn't like any kind of a sliding scale of 1 to 10. How did your month go? But this time we have how was December, to keep, to change, and moments to remember. And the last thing I have to do on this left side of the spread is to stamp in the reflect header and add in at least one mirror of reflection on the reflection page. Wouldn't quite be one without it. And here I'm showing you again how I outline with pencil so I know exactly where to place this mirror, and it gets down where I need it to go without my frame then falling into the crease of the book or taking over the words on the left. Get it exactly where I want it. Here you can see how much I had to kind of futz and play with them to make sure they were laid down correctly. Now here on the right, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to return that first mirror that I showed you. And this is just going to be a header page for his 2023 wrap-up. So behind this page, he can do an annual review. He can put in his Spotify Wrapped. Both of us like to recap those in our bullet journals. So here I'm just creating a header page for him to do that. Starting with, again, laying down our mirror as well as its face. And then this holographic paper is printable sticker paper, and so it takes ink very, very well. And so what I'm going to do after I get this down is place my ruler on here so I kind of know where I'm stamping, and I'm going to put in a 2023 header with the stamps. I just placed them about 1/2 centimeter apart from one another, and then we are going to use this permanent marker. I could have used a regular Pigment Micron. I did test it, it did work. But this permanent marker has a thick end and then it also has a thin tip. And with that thin tip, I am just going to go ahead and write in wrap up. And I don't space it, and it's a little wonky, and that's okay. So we have 2023 wrap up will be the final page in this particular spread. Honestly, I just wanted another excuse to put in another big mirror. And I have to say, because of the light, the mirrors look far more dramatic on camera than they do in person, but they still look good in person as well. Let's reflect back on everything we set up today. Again, this is my son Kenny's bullet journal setup for December 2023. Our theme is Mirror Mirror, at least that's what I'm calling it. This is his calendar page, followed by his weeklies. Let Kenny know if you like this mirror theme. Do you like our choice of the holographic paper instead of me drawing it out and painting it? I really thought we were going to end up with gold mirrors with black faces as something dramatic, because he does love gold. But this is great as well, and I will link his June 2022 setup where we first used this holographic sticker paper for his skating rink theme so that you can watch that as well. While I am moving into a Sterling Ink Common Planner, Kenny is staying with these creative bullet journal setups, so I'll continue to do those for him in 2024. Stay tuned for his 2024 setup. If you made it this far, leave us a mirror emoji down in the comments so we know you were here. If you like this video, you know what to do. Give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next one.